Bonjour, mes amis. You're listening to the Sort Yourself Out podcast, where we discuss powerful, top-down, inside-out approaches to uplifting your life on all levels, helping you to free yourself of the hang-ups and blockages that hinder your well-being so you can leap forward, feeling great in your own skin and giving your best to the world. Today, we're discussing phase 1 of the 3 phases of transformation and my all-time favorite practice to activate it. Plus, I'll be sharing the quotation that blew my mind and set me on a whole new path many years ago. So stay tuned. I'm your host, Janine Hunt, natural health therapist for over 30 years, hypnotherapist, lifelong student, and spiritual seeker. I like to seek out the most effective practices and techniques that provide the greatest bang for my buck and the fastest route to freedom from whatever is holding us back. I can't wait to share with you these powerful techniques so that you too can sort yourself out, know deeper meaning in your life, and best of all, a sense of inner peace. So let's get started. Well, hello there, and thanks so much for joining me on this lovely day. We're picking up where we left off last week, discussing the 3 phases of transformation and how you can activate them in your life. Today, we are expanding on phase 1, raising your awareness, and I'll be discussing my favorite top-down practice to help you raise your awareness and discover the contents of your mind. I'm also offering you a free download that gives you all the details on how you do it and how to make it a practice that sticks. Because yes, folks, today I am talking about meditation. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard that meditation has numerous benefits and isn't just for contorted yogis in loincloths anymore. Meditation has hit the mainstream. And you might have thought, if meditation has so many amazing benefits, maybe I should be doing it. And then you most likely said, I just don't have the time. I wish I had the time, but I don't. I don't have the time. And let me tell you, if I had €1 for every time I heard that, well, you know what I mean. But folks, I have got you covered, as my free download today is all about how to overcome the resistance that we all seem to go through before settling down to a steady meditation practice. And they don't call meditation a discipline for nothing, and I think that's why we feel so much resistance to it. Most of us think, discipline, no thank you. So to get you started, and so you've got no excuse, my free download is not only about how to overcome resistance, but I've also included really simple, easy, doable, no fuss instructions on how to meditate and tips to make sure you can fit it into your day. And I know it can be hard to do this because I felt this resistance myself. I spent many years dithering and dabbling in meditation before I made it an essential part of my life, something that I do every single day. And for me, meditation has been positively life-changing. I consider starting to meditate daily as the single most powerful thing I've ever done, yes, ever done, to improve my well-being. And I am not alone. Check out this quotation by David Mickey. If meditation were available in capsule form, it would be the biggest selling drug of all time. That is so good and so true. And yet people spend years resisting doing it. Incidentally, David Mickey is the author of The Dalai Lama's Cat, The Power of Meow, and The Art of Purring, all of which are utterly fabulous books. I listened to them as audiobooks, and they were just amazing. So I recommend that you give them a go. If you do, start with The Dalai Lama's Cat, as it's the first in the series. He's also written many other books on meditation and mindfulness, but those are my faves. So I really feel like meditation saved my life. Last week, I talked about how I was able to free myself from an alcohol addiction. Go and check out that episode if you want to stop drinking or smoking, as I explain how I did it. And I also gave some links in the show notes to the same methods that I've used. Anyhow, I completely liberated myself from the desire to drink, and that was fantastic. I thought that quitting drinking was the answer to all of my problems. But you know what? Stopping drinking was only the starting point to sorting myself out, because that boozing habit had been obscuring all sorts of nasty crap that was going on in my mind. When I stopped drinking, there it was in all its crappy glory. I was so full of shame and self-hatred and just utterly lacking in self-esteem. I was 38 years old and wondering if I had wasted my life. Because also, all of my adult life, I had been studying and practicing natural medicine, and I just felt like I'd been living a lie. I felt like such a fraud. I was so raw and undone, and I just had this immense desire for solace and soothing. I wanted to fast forward my life to a future time where I felt positive and joyful about life, free of the shame, and just feeling good in myself. I remember that before I stopped drinking, I had thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And then, without the booze in my life, even though it was wonderful to have quit and truly been freed from my addiction, I was left with a gaping hole in my life, and I felt that sentiment, there's got to be more to life than this, even more. I had this need to find more meaning in my life. And it was only when I discovered meditation that my healing began in earnest, that I began to experience more joy and to feel good in my own skin. It started with a weekend introduction to mindfulness retreat that a client of mine was running at their Buddhist retreat center. It was a silent retreat, and there is nothing like listening to the blathering of your own internal self-talk for a couple of days to highlight the noxious contents of your mind. I was appalled with what I discovered going on in there. I had no idea I was such a bitch. And most of the nastiness was directed at myself. And this is why meditation is such an excellent top-down approach, not just in phase 1, but in all 3 phases of the 3 phases of transformation. Because in phase 1, which is raising your awareness, meditation helps you to become aware of the contents of your mind. In phase 2, which is liberating yourself from limiting thoughts and beliefs, meditation allows you to recognize that the thoughts and beliefs floating around in your head are not necessarily your own and not necessarily true. I'll expand on this in a moment. In phase 3, which is consciously reprogramming your mind with the thoughts and beliefs that serve your well-being, meditation informs you as to what your needs really are, which qualities you want to develop to counteract all the crap you've discovered betwixt your ears. So today, we are focusing on phase 1, raising our awareness. Because get this, 90 to 95% of our mind is unconscious. The subconscious mind, also known as the unconscious, controls our bodily functions like breathing, the heartbeat, and digestion, and it contains all of our memories and habits, beliefs, emotions and feelings, and survival instincts like the fight or flight response to danger. Our conscious mind, that is the thinking, rational, logical mind that we like to think is in control, is really just the tip of the iceberg. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So unless we make a conscious effort to bring our attention and awareness into our thought processes and actions, we are living our lives on autopilot, at the mercy of our unconscious conditioning, most of which we absorbed as children. And young kids are veritable sponges, soaking up all manner of crap that we were told by parents, teachers, other kids, society and culture in general, and even stuff we saw on TV. We may have heard things like, "You're not smart enough," or "Money doesn't come easily to people like us," or "You're so clumsy," or "Put on your hat or you'll get sick," or "You're fat and ugly," or "You can't trust anybody in this world," or "You'll never be able to do that," or "You've got chubby knees." Okay, that last one was one of mine. I heard that one for 20 years until I moved away from Canada. But that's not why I moved, I will add. The point is, without having that reinforced for the next 20 years, I forgot all about it until someone who shall remain nameless kindly reminded me again. My point is that no one emerges from childhood unscathed. Even well-meaning parents, such as my own, can instill hang-ups in us, or worse, little chubby knees ones, or big, damaging ones that can pollute our lives forever, ultimately affecting the quality of our lives and what we are capable of achieving. And as little kids, we haven't developed the power to reason, and we're taught to look up to and respect and obey our elders. We take the things they say to us as truth, and they become beliefs in our subconscious minds. But, and this is a big but, as adults, we need to understand that the people who told us these things, well-meaning or not, are mere flawed individuals burdened with their own hang-ups, operating from their own programming that they received as children. And unless they have done a lot of work on themselves, examining the contents of their minds and their beliefs, they are passing it all on to you, you lucky human. Sometimes we might even take to heart a nasty thing said to us by another kid, like, "You're a big fat pig," or "You stink," or "You're so stupid." And we can literally spend all our adult lives harboring an awful hang-up about something a 6-year-old little shit, pardon my French, said to us as a kid. And that is not right. So we need to examine the contents of our minds and weed out the crap, or it will sabotage us for the rest of our days. And there is no better thing than meditation for revealing the contents of our subconscious minds to our conscious awareness. Because contrary to popular belief, meditation is not about trying to empty your mind. It's about concentration and focus. And in my freebie, I will be teaching you a very simple method where you focus on counting your exhalations. You don't need any fancy paraphernalia, no cushions, no benches, no beads, no incense. You don't even need singing bowls. You need you, a chair, and 5 minutes. Yes, folks, that's all you need to commit to, 5 little minutes, and anyone can find 5 minutes. So don't tell me you can't make 5 minutes free to practice one of the most life-enhancing activities available to mankind. Remember that quote, "If meditation were available in capsule form, it would be the biggest selling drug of all time." So here are some of the amazing benefits of meditation. Feeling calmer and more relaxed, an increased ability to manage stress, an increased ability to act calmly and wisely in stressful circumstances, improved concentration and focus, feeling more contented, the ability to control your emotions, the cultivation of compassion for yourself and others, feeling less needy and self-absorbed, and therefore more available to help others, improved immune function and general health, and as we've been discussing, ta-da, the ability to monitor your thinking and to consciously choose your thoughts and actions. This factor alone has immense knock-on effects that will permeate all areas of your life, but has a particular power to improve your relationships, from the most important ongoing ones in your life to the briefest, mundane interactions with your fellow humans. And if those haven't convinced you, this one probably will. Meditation can make you look younger. Yay! Meditation increases the production of a youth hormone called DHEA, which decreases as we age. So production of DHEA in turn causes the pituitary gland to release more of the anti-aging human growth hormone, or HGH, which has a powerful impact on how our skin looks and ages. One study concluded that long-time meditators look 12 years younger than their non-meditating counterparts, and this related not just to outer appearances, but to the internal functioning of their organs and tissues. So there you go. Waste no more time. Now, there is a little miracle that happens when you meditate, and it is the best and most powerful benefit of all. And that is that you realize that you are not your thoughts. And you realize that you are not your emotions. And this is huge. Most people believe they are their thoughts and emotions. They are utterly identified with them. But in meditation, you watch your thoughts as they arise. There's no stopping the little buggers. But that's okay. You just notice what they are and try not to get caught up in them. You allow them to pass by like clouds in a clear blue sky. And this is the magic. This is the miracle. You realize that you are not your thoughts because you are watching them. You realize that you are the observer of your thoughts. And this little bit of distance, this modicum of detachment from your thoughts, is the true point of power, where you can choose what to think, what to say, how to respond. You observe the nasty thoughts and beliefs that arise and think, nah, I don't want that. I'm choosing something else that uplifts me. This alone is life-changing, as it takes you out of autopilot. You kiss goodbye your old automatic knee-jerk reactions, and instead you're empowered to consciously choose your response in any given circumstances in a measured way. In the Ageless Wisdom, which I study, this is called cultivating the attitude of the observer. And who is the observer? Well, the observer is the presence that is witnessing the thoughts. Now, I'm going to get a little metaphysical on you. So far, we have discussed how the benefits of meditation can have a positive impact on everyday life on the physical plane, like feeling more relaxed and being able to manage stress. We have looked at what is known as the horizontal aspect, but there is an even more interesting aspect to consider, and this is the vertical aspect of meditation. In the Ageless Wisdom, meditation is considered as a science. Now, I'm going to back up a bit and include a little background info for you. Because if you're not familiar with the Ageless Wisdom, I can hear you asking, Janine, what the hell is the Ageless Wisdom? Well, the Ageless Wisdom is a body of teaching that underlies and encompasses all of the world's spiritual traditions. It's called ageless because it has been handed down across the ages at a level suitable to the expanding consciousness of humanity. Because humanity is always evolving, and it is our minds in particular that are evolving, that are capable of understanding new, higher, more edifying or spiritually enriching ideas. You only have to look back in history to, say, the humanity of the 13th century and compare it to humanity today to see that we have evolved enormously. I first encountered the ageless wisdom when I came across a quotation in a book I was flicking through at a friend's place about the art of Rudolf Steiner, the Austrian philosopher. Steiner was an immensely talented and prolifically creative man in diverse areas, but he is probably most widely known as the founder of the Waldorf schools and education system. The quotation that caught my attention was by Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, and it blew my mind. It was this: matter is spirit at its lowest point of manifestation, and spirit is matter at its highest. This quotation had me utterly fascinated. In recent years, I had gone from being an atheist to reluctantly embracing spirituality. I was reading everything I could get my hands on to try to understand the nature of the world, and I just had so many questions about the meaning of life and couldn't really find any satisfactory answers in the spiritual info I was finding until this quotation led me to the ageless wisdom that is. I was so intrigued by the idea in this quotation, and even the name Helena Blavatsky sent shivers down my spine as it felt like something remembered from a past life. So I got busy looking into things and discovered the books of Alice A. Bailey, who wrote 24 books on esoteric philosophy, most of them in cooperation with a Tibetan master of the wisdom who dictated them to her telepathically between 1919 and 1949. And these books are the latest installment of the Ageless Wisdom teachings. And I was so excited when I bought my first Alice Bailey book. I eagerly opened it and began to read, but I couldn't understand any of it. It was way beyond my comprehension at the time. Bemused, I stashed it in a cupboard. A year or so later, after lots more studying and meditation, I got an urge to try again. And this time I could understand it a bit. This info is so profound and so rich and so deep that you can read it over and over and get more and more meaning and understanding from it as your consciousness expands. Understand it better with each reading. So I'm going to repeat this quotation again as it's a bit convoluted, but it represents an important principle governing life on earth. Matter is spirit at its lowest point of manifestation, and spirit is matter at its highest. What it boils down to is what the Eastern spiritual traditions have always taught, and that today's science confirms, and that is this: that all is energy. So this quotation, matter is spirit at its lowest point of manifestation and spirit is matter at its highest, is all about the continuum of energy or spirit. At one end of the continuum, we have matter, solid physical things. This is congealed energy, energy crystallized in dense physical material form, vibrating at a low frequency. At the higher end of the continuum, we have spirit, which is energy vibrating at a very high frequency. And even though it is spirit or pure consciousness, it has a substantial or material component, meaning it has substance, although intangible. It's what is known as subtle energy. So everything in the world is energy in manifestation. And via the law of correspondence, we can look at a human life as a microcosm of this spirit-matter continuum, as we are spiritual entities occupying a physical form, known in the Ageless Wisdom as the personality. Now, you know that quote by Teilhard de Chardin that we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Well, that's what this is all about. The personality is made up of 4 vehicles or bodies, each reflecting a particular type of energy. And these bodies provide our means of perception and expression in the world. Firstly, we have the mind, or the mental body. Then the emotional body. These two are pretty self-explanatory, allowing us to think, to feel emotions, respectively. Next, we have the etheric or energy body, which connects us to the ocean of energies in which we live and move and have our being, and which interpenetrates our dense physical body, the fourth vehicle. Our thoughts and feelings are energies that flow via the etheric body into our physical body, initiating and motivating our actions in the world. So the vertical aspect of meditation, firstly, fosters the integration of our personality vehicles so that they act as one and work in unison as a complete whole. This means we are bringing our lower bodies, the physical etheric body and the emotional, under the dominion of the mind, the highest part of our personality. And when that happens, a higher vertical alignment with the soul can take place, and the integrated personality can be used as a channel for the qualities and energies of the soul in everyday living. Because there is a spiritual injunction which says that we must share horizontally that which has been received vertically, so that our insights, understandings, attainments, and greater levels of well-being are brought into practical expression in our daily lives for the upliftment of the whole. We are anchoring potent spiritual energies in a world that desperately needs them. Now, this is what I mean by a top-down approach. The lower is governed by the higher. The physical and the emotional natures are governed by the mental. The personality is governed by the soul. This is known in the ageless wisdom as a soul-infused personality. And meditation is the bridge between soul and personality, bringing the personality into alignment with the intentions and purpose of the soul for this incarnation. And the more our vehicles of expression, that is, the mental, emotional, and physical bodies, are brought under the guidance of our spiritual purpose, the more we can resolve our inner conflicts and be the expression of the soul on the physical plane. That means that we can bring into expression the qualities, talents, and skills that the soul has been cultivating across countless incarnations, because nothing is lost in the life of the soul. And as an interesting side note, the ageless wisdom tells us that this is the basis of genius, and those child prodigies that can do amazing things at 4 years old. They've done it before, folks. Here's a lovely quotation from the Tibetan master from Esoteric Psychology, Volume 2. Genius is ever the expression of the soul in some creative activity, thus revealing the world of meaning, of divinity and hidden beauty, which the phenomenal world usually veils, but will someday indicate in truth. Ooh, ponder on that one. So for most people, unless you do an Eckhart Tolle, who went from a state of suicidal misery to a spontaneous spiritual awakening, this period of integration is a long, cumulative process facilitated by meditation, in which we purify our bodies from the illusions and habits that are cluttering up the place, keeping us anchored in our lower energy centers and blocking the flow of those higher energies. Because we need to achieve emotional poise and mental clarity before the energies of the soul can penetrate into the mind and be registered in the brain. So meditation is the ultimate top-down practice, allowing us to reach vertically and contact the higher spiritual energies, and then to anchor them horizontally, illuminating and inspiring every aspect of daily life. What do you think of that? Nice, eh? So we are uplifting ourselves individually through our meditation practice, and as always with any true advancement, benefiting the good of the whole as we radiate that well-being out into the world. Okay, that is the esoteric philosophy lesson over for today. I just wanted to get across to you the full power of meditation, not just as a practice to relieve some stress, feel more relaxed, and to smooth out those dang wrinkles, but as the means and the practice for spiritual growth and enlightenment. Meditation is literally, yes, literally, about the illumination of the mind, about the spiritualization of matter, about releasing greater light and love onto the physical plane and into human affairs. Now, a couple important points about meditation. The rule for meditation is that a little every day is better than an hour once or twice a week. This will help you to establish the routine and the rhythm, and to really give meditation a chance to work its wonders and create noticeable benefits that will permeate all areas of your life. Just give it a week or two and you'll see what I mean and never want to stop. And more good news, you only need 5 minutes. Indeed, as we've been discussing, meditation is the means of contacting higher spiritual energies. So you do not want to do long sessions if you're a beginner. Short daily sessions gradually prepare your lower bodies to safely receive the energies of a higher vibration. So folks, a quick recap on the value of meditation in the 3 phases of transformation, and then we'll wrap this up. Although we've been focusing today on phase 1, meditation is really a practice that helps all 3 phases. In phase 1, which is raising your awareness, meditation helps you to become aware of the contents of your mind. In phase 2, which is liberating yourself from limiting thoughts and beliefs, meditation allows you to observe the thoughts and beliefs floating around in your head and to recognize that they are not necessarily your own. And in phase 3, which is consciously reprogramming your mind with the thoughts and beliefs that serve your well-being, meditation informs you as to what your needs are, which qualities you want to develop to counteract all the weirdness you've discovered going on in your head. So on that happy note, I'm going to leave you to go on with your day. I really hope that I've inspired you to begin a daily meditation practice. I just want to ask you a quick question first. How are you going to free up those 5 minutes a day? What are you going to do to wipe out the excuses and make those important 5 minutes available for such a life-enhancing practice? Maybe you can set your alarm a few minutes earlier. Don't look at me like that. It's only 5 minutes. Maybe you can devote 5 minutes to meditation before you go to bed. It'll certainly help you sleep better. Maybe you can get your arse off social media or away from the TV for a few minutes and use those. Trust me, it'll do you good. And if you've been faffing around for years, never really committing to a daily meditation practice, don't forget to download my guide. It gives you really simple, doable, no-fuss instructions on how to meditate to make sure you can fit it into your day and to help you move past the resistance so you can get started and, most importantly, keep going. You'll see a link to the guide below if you're listening to this on the inspirationcloud.com, or you can access it at theinspirationcloud.com/SYO3. Well, folks, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time when I'll be expanding on phase 2 of the 3 phases of transformation, how to liberate yourself from your hangups, your self-sabotaging thought and behavior patterns, so you can move forward to ever higher levels of well-being. So that's all for now. Have a great week, and I'll be back next week. See you soon. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. I really hope you found it helpful and full of uplifting ideas that you can put into practice in your life. And if you have, chances are your friends and family will too. So please share it with them on social media. You'll be helping them to sort themselves out, because I bet you think they need it, right? But seriously, you'll also be doing me a huge favor in return, and I will be eternally grateful and sending loving vibes your way. I would also love it if you would leave me a review on iTunes, preferably a nice one, please. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast too. If you have any questions or would like me to address a certain topic, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at info@theinspirationcloud.com. Have a good one, folks. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.